What about in today's video? We're going to be doing some autumn lawn care tips, but we're going global today.
Global? Are you planning on mowing the whole world?
Not quite, however, we're going to be discussing key differences between North America and UK, because a lot of people get this stuff mixed up. So let's go. Our first key difference, now these tips are for cool season grasses, and I've come down to the lawn here just to discuss lawn mowing, because this is a real key difference between for autumn lawn care tips for North America and for the UK. In the UK, we tend to leave our grass a bit longer, and the reason for that is very simple. Our winters are mild and the grass carries on growing. Now, there's not as much sunlight through the autumn and winter time, so we leave the grass a bit longer so as those leaves can make more energy from the sun through photosynthesis. However, if you're in North America, then there's a very good chance that your lawn is going to be under snow for a lot of the winter, in which case you want to cut your grass shorter. That's for two reasons. Number one, it's more prone to disease if there's quite a lot of grass underneath the snow, and the other reason being that your grass can mat. So they're our first tips for autumn lawn care.
It's important to prepare your lawn for winter. Getting this right now will give you a better lawn come springtime.
Regardless of what country you're in, aeration is always good, particularly though in the UK, coming into the winter, aerating your lawn is very good. As we know, we live in a wet climate and we got a lot of rain coming down here, and it helps get the water down into the soil. So here's one of the cores that came out of the lawn. If you're new to the show, make sure to subscribe. For the rest of you, smash that like button. Now let's get on with it. Scarification now complete. Fantastic to do if you're in the UK. However, I'm going to say that this next bit of advice comes with a good dose of common sense. Depending on where you are in the UK, how far north and how far south you are will dictate how late in the season you can do it.
Now, those of you in North America, you get drier autumns, so thatch is less of an issue. But if you do have thatch, scarification or dethatching should be done in early October, so it has time to recover before the winter dormancy.
In the UK, September and October are probably the best months of the year to overseed. However, I'm going to throw in some caveats in that earlier on I talked about common sense. It depends how far north and how far south you are, because the late frost in the year can really catch you out. If you're in North America, then you're going to want to finish up your overseeding just at the beginning of October. So our next step, we're going to get the soil on the lawn. Now I'm going to give a quick shout out to a tool that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. This tool's really good, especially more for professionals. We get lots of questions on the show anytime we're top dressing lawns. People say, how much material do you need? And this little tool helps us work it out. Another really obvious thing is the leaves. Obviously keeping the leaves off the lawn, regardless of what continent you're in, are pretty important to having a good lawn. In the UK, in the autumn months, generally watering isn't needed because Lord knows we get enough rain most of the time. For North America, sometimes if it is very dry, you might need to do some watering to aid root development coming into the winter. So usually at this point in time, we usually say we're going to have a cup of tea. However, we're running a wee bit late and it's nearly home time, so we're going to get this matted in.
Right, the next step is to get this matted in so we get good seed to soil contact.
So Jason's matting the soil in, and just for any beginners watching the show, just to show you, so all the mat does, it just really helps push that soil down into the lawn and level out any humps and hollows, really important. Now we've got all that matted in, let's go and see what Jason's up to. So Jason, what's happening now?
Just getting the iron mix ready to put on the lawn, which helps dry out the moss and green up the grass.
So at the minute, Jason is putting on the iron and the seaweed. The reason we use iron is really good. Iron's really good for a plant, especially coming into winter. What it does is it helps the plant create chlorophyll, and that's the pigment that helps get your lawn nice and green. Now we're also spraying seaweed at the same time. Seaweed is really good because it contains lots of growth hormones, which are really good whenever you're overseeding your lawn, and it also helps the grass plant make better use of the fertiliser that we're going to be putting on next. So now we've got the iron on, we're going to put on our autumn and winter fertiliser. So we've got a little bit of magnesium, we've got some iron in this, and then we've got our 6-5-10. Whenever you're feeding your lawn in the autumn and winter time, you want to bring the N down. We don't want to put as much nitrogen on the leaf. So if you think, in my videos always say NPK, up, down and all around. So nitrogen, we want to keep that low. In the spring, you want to keep it higher. The reason we want less nitrogen this time of year, that's the bit that makes it nice and green. If you put on too high nitrogen, then it makes the lawn grow too much and it makes the leaf soft and it's going to be more susceptible to disease. So that's why we put on less nitrogen this time of year, and then in the springtime we up it. So if you think springtime starts up here, and as you get through the year you start to drop it. So you want to concentrate on phosphorus and potassium in the autumn and winter months. Have those higher than the N, because that's going to aid root development and just overall plant health.
If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit this video now.